What is going on, guys? It's your boy YKTV Frenchie, and y'all know the vibes. And today we're gonna be showing you guys the new build on the channel. So let's get to revealing it. Alright guys, so we're back at it. It's been a couple of days and I have painted the oil pan, and I have also painted the exhaust manifold. So now we're mint with those things. So right now I'm going to try to take off the header of the exhaust, but first I have to take off the bumper and the grill. So it's essentially just 4 bolts, one right over here, and then one on the opposite side, and then 2 beside the grill. And then the grill is just held on by some zip ties. So let's get the bumper off quickly. As you guys can see, I got the manifold out. The top bolt, as you guys saw in that quick little time lapse, came out pretty quick. But these 2 bolts here, pretty rusted and crusted. Took a while to get out, but nonetheless, I got them out. So the next thing I'm gonna do is show you guys the manifold that I got and put it on, or just like kind of mock it up, and then I'm gonna show you guys the turbo, and then the video will be over. So let's grab the manifold and show you guys what it looks like. So here's the manifold. It looks actually pretty baller. I like the silver aluminum color, and it looks like that I'm gonna have to bolt up the manifold before the turbo, which isn't a big deal. So probably tomorrow I'm gonna bolt up everything permanent, so the turbo and then the manifold will be put on permanently. I also gotta do something to the turbo first, which I'm gonna show you right now. So as you guys see, I went with a max heating rod. Honestly, not too bad. It's pretty cheap and it's pretty big, so looks pretty fresh. What was weird with this turbo in particular was the area where you usually normally attach the boost gauge or the wastegate. You have to drill it out yourself and tap it, so I have to drill and tap it first before I put the turbo in, because obviously you don't want to be drilling and tapping while it's in the car. So alrighty, so the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your anti-seize and kind of lace it on the bolts. This is going to help in the future. So if you ever want to take off the manifold, it's going to be a lot easier to take off. It won't make your nuts back off, but it will help you take off the bolts if you ever are going to. So I'm gonna quickly put on the anti-seize, and then I can put on the gasket, and then the manifold's basically on. Alrighty guys, we got everything anti-seized up. Now it's time to put in the gasket. So when you get these gaskets, you can see that there's a flat side, and then there's kind of like a round side. You'll definitely be able to notice it if you have one yourself. So what I did with the other manifold, and it didn't leak, it had the same type of gasket, is I put the flat side on the block and then the round side on the manifold. So let's get to putting it on, and then I can put the manifold on finally. Alright guys, as you can see, the wastegate is on now, manifold is on. It looks sharp, looks killer. So the next part of the video, I'm basically just going to be working on the oil side of the turbo, which means the drain and the feed. So I'm gonna put down the camera for the day, and then in a couple of days we'll start wrenching on the oil section. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of days, and now we're going to drain the oil and kind of work on the oil system. So I got my cardboard box, and I'm just gonna take off the oil drain, which is pretty simple. So just grab your 18, loosen it off, and then take off the bung slowly so you get the oil in the pan. Alrighty, so now that I got the oil all drained, I'm gonna take off this transmission mount here. So it's just a bolt here, bolt there, another bolt there, and then the last bolt's up there. So just 4 bolts. So let's take those off. So I got the transmission bracket out. There's also this little plate here, and it's 1, 2, 3 10 mil, so I got to take that off also. It's really crusty down here, but we're gonna take those off and probably clean this piece off, just make sure that's not as gunked up. And then, so now that I got the brace and the transmission mount off, I'm going to take off all these bolts. Might be a struggle. They look like 10 mils, and they are all covered in gunk. So once again, let's just take off all these bolts so we can throw on the new pan with the fresh paint and the nice new bunk. Alrighty guys, the crusty oil pan is finally out. Thank God. As you guys can see, gasket's kind of trash, and look at all that disgustingness. It took a while to get off, but it's finally off, so now I can put in the oil pan that I fixed up last video. Of the Turbo Civic, episode 4 of the rusted turbo. Anyways, today in this video we're going to be putting on the intercooler piping, hopefully mounting up the turbo permanently, and that'll probably be about it for this episode of the video. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to clock this turbo, because right now, as you see, it's shooting out there. I want to drop it a tiny bit more just so it shoots out there, so I can get a pipe from the intercooler, because I'm going to mount the intercooler right over here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is loosen off these bolts so I can clock the turbo downwards. Let's get to work. Alright guys, so quick little update. I put the 90 from the throttle body, then a straight pipe into like another 90 kind of bend, and then down there over here is another 90, and then another 90 intercooler piping. And what I'm going to do is get another 90 from here so I can mount up the intercooler right about here. So I just need a 90 from there. I gotta order that, but other than that, I'm going to start mounting this here intercooler. I already got the first mount up, so one big hole over here and then one tiny one to mount it up. Found some 12 millimeters that fit in perfectly over there. So let's get to marking it up and drilling the holes for the other side. Alright guys, so quick little update of what's going on with the Turbo Civic right now. As you guys can see, intercooler is bolted up. I ran that 90 to the straight, and then it's kind of squiggly down there, and then it shoots out over here. So I'm just missing a 90. I'm probably gonna have to cut this piece, but if I get if I cut it like right over here, and then I could just get a 90, it'll work mint. And then on the other side where the turbo is, I got the reducer piece over here, and then just a little straight piece, and then over here, and then I just need another 90. I already checked with that 90 over there to see if it would work mint, and it does. So yeah, right now we're just kind of at a standstill. The next part of the video, I'm hopefully going to bolt up the turbo permanently, and then we have a lot of things coming off the list, but still a lot of more things to go. So hopefully I can get those these elbows right over here pretty soon. I already ordered them. They said that they're gonna come in a day or so. So other than that, man, we're grinding away. So I'll get back at it whenever I get those parts, or whenever I decide to mount up this turbo properly. As you guys can see, the turbo is out. So what I'm gonna do now is use some of this gasket maker, put it on the gasket over here, because I've heard that these blow out easily with these manifolds just from the videos that I've been watching. So I'm gonna put some of this on top of the gasket. Also, it comes with these nuts, and I got these lock ones, so I'm also gonna put lock washers, so hopefully this goes nowhere. And also putting on my air filter before I put it in. So let's get Alright guys. Okay guys, so as you guys saw in the previous clips, I put this red high temperature gasket maker, and it is on. The turbo is fully bolted up. Got these 17 millimeters on. I also have the filter on now, and the oil feed is bolted up. So all that we really need to start the car hypothetically is the oil drain. So I'm getting that made. Hopefully it's gonna be in today. Cross our fingers, and we're gonna hope to start this thing. So from the last episode, I got in the 90s here. So now intercooler piping is basically finished, and the next thing we're gonna want to do is attach this drain that I got as well. So now that we got the drain, we can bolt it up and everything. But just from a quick little glance over here, I'm gonna have to clock the turbo a little bit just so I can put it on initially, and then we will be mint. So first thing we're gonna want to do is Teflon tape all of this, and then we should be mint to start putting it on, and then I can clock the turbo and we'll be mint. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so everything is good. Oil is in the car, 5W30 of course, and then here's the drain. It's not really kinked actually, but so yeah, it looks pretty strong, and hopefully it stays there permanently. And right now, what we're gonna do is start up the rig. All right, first start, priming. Alright guys, as you guys see, all bolted up. Probably gonna leak a tad bit because there's no gasket in it, but that's totally okay. I just gotta kind of have it a little bit janked up just for the time being until I can actually get someone to weld this piece to the existing exhaust. So the next thing that we're gonna do is kind of just go underneath the car, and then use some of this chicken wire to just hang up the exhaust. Would not recommend it, but your boy's trying to drive the car and kind of go for a little bit of a test drive today. So let's get underneath the car and get the chicken wire going.